My beloved child. If these words have found you today, do not rush away as you have so many times before. Be still for a moment. The world has taught you to move quickly, to chase the next task, the next notification, the next worry. Yet there are moments that ask for something different. They ask for silence. They ask for attention. They ask for your heart. For so long, you have believed that every important message would arrive with loud voices, flashing lights, or undeniable signs. But the deepest truths rarely announce themselves that way. They arrive quietly, like the first light of dawn touching the horizon. They wait patiently until your heart is ready to listen. Today is one of those moments. You have skipped this call many times before, not because you are weak, not because you lack faith, but because life has covered your spirit with layers of fear, disappointment, and endless distractions. Every time hope began to rise within you, something convinced you that it was safer not to believe. You have carried burdens that no one else fully understands. You smiled when your heart wanted to cry. You encouraged others while silently wondering who would encourage you. You prayed during sleepless nights when everyone believed you were resting peacefully. You questioned your purpose while pretending that everything was under control. Yet through every tear you wiped away before anyone noticed, heaven remained aware of your journey. Nothing escaped divine sight. Every silent prayer, every broken dream, every lonely evening, every act of kindness that nobody thanked you for. All of it was seen. And now the hour has come for your heart to awaken once more. Do not misunderstand these words. This is not a message designed to fill you with fear. This is a message meant to remind you that time is precious. When people hear the words, "Only 45 minutes left," they imagine a countdown filled with panic. But the true countdown is not about a clock hanging on your wall. It is about opportunity. How many opportunities have slipped through your hands because fear whispered louder than hope? How many blessings stood outside your comfort zone while you remained trapped inside familiar pain? How many dreams did you postpone, promising yourself that tomorrow would somehow be different? Tomorrow became next week. Next week became next month. Next month became another year. Still, your heart kept waiting. My beloved child, the greatest prison is not made of iron bars. It is built from the words. Maybe later. One day becomes none. The soul grows tired. The spirit forgets how to dream. But I have come to remind you that your story is not finished. There are chapters you have not yet imagined. There are victories you have not yet celebrated. There are people waiting to meet the version of you that has not fully awakened. You often ask heaven, "Why is nothing changing?" Yet heaven gently asks you, what if the change begins inside you first? The mountain before you may appear impossible. The obstacles seem larger than your strength. But remember this. Mountains do not move because they are small. They move because faith refuses to surrender. You have mistaken delay for denial. The seasons of your life have been preparing you. Every disappointment taught wisdom. Every failure planted humility. Every closed door redirected your steps. Every goodbye created space for a better hello. Although you could not understand the purpose while walking through the darkness, every step was shaping your character. Nothing was wasted. Not one tear. Not one prayer. Not one act of love. The universe often appears silent before sunrise. The seed appears lifeless before it becomes a tree. The caterpillar seems trapped before becoming a butterfly. Likewise, your life has been in preparation. You have measured yourself by visible success. Heaven measures you by the strength of your heart. You believed you were falling behind. Perhaps you were simply growing deeper roots. There will always be voices trying to convince you that hope is foolish. Ignore them. They cannot see what has already begun beneath the surface. A farmer does not dig up the seed every morning to check whether it is growing. Faith requires patience. Growth happens where human eyes cannot see. Many people around you celebrate what is visible. Heaven celebrates what is becoming. Do not compare your path with anyone else's. Different flowers bloom in different seasons. Different stars appear at different hours. Different stories reach their greatest chapter at different moments. Your timing has never belonged to the opinions of others. It belongs to the wisdom of God. So breathe again. Lift your head again. Hope again. Love again. Dream again. Believe again. The version of yourself that almost gave up is not the version destined to finish this journey. There is greater strength hidden within you than you have ever imagined. Not because life will suddenly become easy, but because your spirit is becoming stronger than your circumstances. Many nights you wondered, does anyone hear my prayers? Yes. Every whisper reached heaven. Every tear became a silent language. Every sigh carried meaning. Sometimes answers arrived differently than expected. Sometimes protection looked like rejection. Sometimes mercy looked like delay. Sometimes love looked like closed doors. Looking back one day, you will recognize blessings disguised as disappointments. The path ahead still contains challenges. But challenges no longer have permission to define your identity. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not your fears. You are not every cruel word spoken against you. Your value has never depended upon the opinions of people who failed to recognize your light. Remember this whenever doubt returns. Darkness never defeats the sunrise. It only delays its appearance. And your sunrise, it is closer than you think. As this moment unfolds, choose not to run from hope once again. Choose not to silence the quiet voice encouraging you to keep moving forward. Choose to believe that even after all you have endured, your greatest days are still being written. Because this is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of a new chapter. And somewhere beyond today's struggles, a future version of yourself is already thanking you for refusing to give up. My beloved child, there is something you must understand before you take another step. The greatest battles are rarely fought where others can see them. They unfold in the quiet places of the heart, where fear argues with faith, where yesterday's wounds compete with tomorrow's hope, and where every decision either strengthens your spirit or surrenders it to despair. You have spent so much time asking for a sign that you almost overlooked the strength already growing inside you. Think back to the moments you believed would break you forever. The night you cried until no tears remained. The day you felt abandoned. The season when every door seemed locked, every answer delayed, and every prayer echoed back in silence. Yet here you are. Still breathing. Still searching. Still hoping, even if only with a tiny spark hidden beneath the ashes of disappointment. That spark is more powerful than you realize. A single flame can overcome a room full of darkness. In the same way, one courageous decision can begin transforming an entire life. Do not underestimate small beginnings. A single act of forgiveness can free years of bitterness. A single moment of courage can open a future you never imagined. A single step taken in faith can lead farther than 1,000 steps taken in fear. Many people believe miracles arrive without preparation. But often, miracles begin when a heart becomes willing to change. Perhaps the breakthrough you seek is already moving toward you, while you are being prepared to receive it. You have asked, "Why has my journey been so difficult?" Because difficult roads often produce compassionate hearts. Because storms teach roots to grow deeper. Because mountains reveal strength that flat paths never require. Your struggles have not erased your purpose. They have refined it. The world may judge you by your achievements, but heaven sees the kindness you showed when no one noticed, the prayers you whispered when no one listened, and the hope you held on to when giving up seemed easier. Do not compare your chapter to someone else's ending. Every soul has its own season. Every life unfolds in its own time. The sunrise never apologizes for arriving exactly when it should. Neither should you. Release the burden of trying to prove your worth to everyone around you. You were never meant to carry that weight. Your value is not measured by applause. It is measured by the love you give, the integrity you protect, and the courage you show when life becomes uncertain. There will always be voices telling you that you are too late. Too broken. Too ordinary. Too weak. Do not allow those voices to become your own. Instead, choose a different voice, the quiet one that reminds you to rise again after every fall, to forgive after every hurt, and to hope after every disappointment. That voice has been waiting patiently for you to listen. The future is not asking for a perfect person. It is asking for a willing heart. So lift your eyes. Take one more step. Speak one more prayer. Offer one more act of kindness. Believe one more time. Because sometimes the greatest turning point comes just after the moment you almost decided to stop walking. My beloved child. Do not let your heart become troubled by the silence between your prayers and the answers you long to receive. Silence is not always emptiness. Sometimes it is the sacred space where your character is being shaped, where your courage is quietly taking root, and where tomorrow's blessings are gathering beyond your sight. You have wondered why certain doors closed without explanation. You questioned why friendships faded. You questioned why opportunities disappeared just as they seemed within reach. You even questioned yourself. But what if those closed doors were not punishments? What if they were protection? There are paths that appear beautiful at first glance but lead only to regret. There are opportunities that seem perfect but would slowly steal your peace. There are moments when what feels like a loss is actually the beginning of a greater purpose. Trust that not every unanswered desire was meant to become part of your story. There is wisdom in waiting. There is strength in patience. There is growth in seasons when nothing seems to be happening. A tree does not become mighty overnight. Long before its branches reach toward the sky, its roots are growing deep beneath the ground where no one applauds and no one notices. Your life has been much the same. People have judged you by what they can see. But heaven has been shaping what they cannot. Every disappointment has taught compassion. Every failure has taught humility. Every delay has taught endurance. One day, you will look back and realize that the hardest seasons gave birth to the strongest version of yourself. Do not be afraid of starting again. Starting over is not failure. It is proof that hope is stronger than fear. Many people stay trapped because they fear the unknown. But every beautiful sunrise begins with a night that seemed endless. You have carried burdens that were never yours to carry. The opinions of others. The guilt of old mistakes. The pressure to become someone you were never created to be. Lay those burdens down. You were not created to imitate another person's journey. You were created to walk your own path with courage, kindness, and unwavering faith. Even now, while reading these words, something within your heart is stirring. It is the quiet reminder that you were never meant to live only by fear. You were meant to love deeply. To forgive freely. To stand firmly when others choose to surrender. To become a source of hope for those who have forgotten how to believe. Remember this whenever doubt whispers that you are not enough. You have survived every difficult day that once seemed impossible. You have overcome storms you thought would destroy you. You have stood up after every fall, even when no one believed you could. That strength did not appear by accident. It was built one choice at a time. One prayer at a time. One act of courage at a time. Do not despise the small victories. Celebrate every step forward. Celebrate every lesson learned. Celebrate every moment you chose kindness over anger, faith over fear, and hope over despair. Those moments are shaping your destiny. The world often celebrates success that can be measured. But heaven celebrates faithfulness that cannot always be seen. So if you feel unseen today, remember this. Every act of love matters. Every word of encouragement matters. Every quiet sacrifice matters. Nothing given in love is ever wasted. The chapter ahead will ask you to trust more than you ever have before. Not because the road will suddenly become easy, but because your heart is becoming stronger than the challenges before you. Do not turn back now. You have already traveled too far. The dawn is beginning to break beyond the horizon, even if your eyes cannot yet see its light. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep choosing hope. My beloved child. The moment you have been waiting for is not arriving because the world has suddenly become perfect. It is arriving because your heart has slowly become ready to receive what it once could not carry. For a long time, you believed that your greatest enemy was the storm around you. But the real battle was never outside. It was the voice within that kept saying, "Maybe I am not enough. Maybe I have missed my chance. Maybe my best days are already behind me." Those words were never meant to become your identity. Today, release them. You are not defined by the chapters that caused you pain. You are defined by the courage that kept you turning the page. Look back for a moment, not to remain there, but to recognize how far you have come. Remember the nights when you felt completely alone. Remember the days when disappointment seemed to follow every effort. Remember the moments when your strength was almost gone, yet somehow you found enough courage to keep moving. You thought you were merely surviving. In truth, you were becoming stronger. Strength is not built in moments of comfort. It is forged in seasons of uncertainty. Just as gold is refined by fire, the human spirit often discovers its greatest resilience through trials. Do not resent every hardship you have faced. Some of them taught you wisdom. Some of them revealed who truly cared for you. Some of them prepared you for responsibilities you could not have handled before. Even your tears were not wasted. They watered the soil from which compassion would one day grow. One day, someone will cross your path carrying burdens much like the ones you once carried. Because you have walked through darkness, you will know how to offer light. Because you have known heartbreak, you will know how to offer comfort. Because you have experienced uncertainty, you will know how to encourage those who are ready to give up. Your pain is not the whole story. It has become part of your preparation. Do not allow bitterness to take the place where hope belongs. Forgiveness is not saying that wrong actions were acceptable. Forgiveness is choosing not to let yesterday continue controlling tomorrow. Some people may never apologize. Some questions may never receive clear answers. Yet peace does not always depend on receiving explanations. Sometimes peace begins the moment you decide to stop carrying what no longer belongs to you. Release what you cannot change. Embrace what you can become. There are still dreams sleeping inside your heart. Some have been forgotten. Some have been hidden beneath disappointment. Some seem impossible. But remember this. Many of life's greatest journeys begin with one small decision. To believe again. Do not wait until fear disappears. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. Courage means taking the next step despite it. There will be people who misunderstand your journey. Let them. There will be voices that doubt your future. Do not let those voices become louder than the quiet hope within you. The path ahead will not always be easy. There may still be valleys to cross and mountains to climb. But you will not be the same person who first entered this journey. You now carry wisdom that only experience can teach. You now possess patience that only waiting can develop. You now have compassion that only suffering can awaken. These are treasures that no circumstance can take away. As each new morning begins, choose gratitude over resentment. And when you stumble, and there may be days when you do, remember that falling is not the end of the journey. The important thing is to rise again. Every sunrise offers another opportunity. Every breath reminds you that your story continues. Every new day is an invitation to become a little wiser, a little kinder, and a little braver than the day before. The pages ahead are still blank. Fill them with faith. Fill them with love. Fill them with courage. And when you finally look back from the mountaintop you once thought you could never reach, you will understand that every step, even the painful ones, helps shape the person you were always meant to become. So walk forward with confidence. Walk forward with peace. Walk forward knowing that hope is never wasted. For the journey is not ending here. My beloved child. If you have walked through every chapter until this moment, then pause for just a little while. Let your heart grow still. The journey has never been about racing to the finish. It has always been about becoming the person you were created to be along the way. There were days when you believed your story had ended. You looked at the broken pieces of your life and wondered how anything beautiful could ever come from them. But now, as you stand at the edge of a new beginning, you can see something you could not see before. Every disappointment gave you patience. Every delay taught you perseverance. Every tear watered the seeds of compassion growing within your heart. Not a single moment when you chose hope over despair. There were times when you felt forgotten. Yet even in those lonely seasons, you were never truly alone. Love surrounded you in ways you could not always recognize. Strength was growing inside you even when you felt weak. The light before you never stopped shining, it was simply hidden behind the clouds of fear and uncertainty. Now those clouds are beginning to part. The future is calling you, not with fear, but with hope. Do not carry yesterday's burdens into tomorrow. Lay them down. Forgive yourself for the mistakes you have made. Forgive those who wounded you, not because they deserved it, but because your heart deserves peace. Choose joy even when life is imperfect. Choose gratitude even when your blessings seem small. Choose kindness even when the world feels harsh. These choices will shape the life you build from this day forward. Remember, true strength is not found in never falling. It is